Throughout the early 1980s, rail fans in the Northeast were treated to two historic modern steam railroading events. 2.5 decades after its retirement, ex-C&O J3a Greenbrier number 614 once again rode the rails, powering some of the East Coast's largest and fastest excursions. Making its debut in September of 1980, she was the motive power for Operation Lifesaver's Chessie Safety Express. These trips began in Baltimore, Maryland, and ventured out as far as Orlando and Miami, Florida. Many of the Safety Express trips were on C&O home rails from Huntington to Hinton, West Virginia, a route that she and her crew were to become very well acquainted with. In 1985, she hauled 4,500-ton loaded coal trains unassisted uphill, testing for the ACE 3000 project. Relive the action and excitement from both events as Bill Klein and Steve Larrow, in association with K&L Trainz, present one of Lima's finest, Chesapeake and Ohio J3a Greenbrier number 614. The morning of September 13, 1980, marks the inaugural run of Operation Lifesaver's Chessie Safety Express, a special train assembled to convey a message of grade crossing safety. This trip also marks the debut of the recently restored 484 Greenbrier number 614. The locomotive was acquired the previous year in a trade with the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum following a roundhouse fire that crippled Reading T1 number 2101. The 614's tender has been modified with an extended coal bunker, increasing her fuel capacity to 50 tons of coal. A former Louisville and Nashville Big Emma tender acts as a reserve water supply, bringing the total water supply up to 50,000 gallons. The train is comprised of 19 cars, consisting of baggage, lounge, dome, and open-window coaches, formerly owned by the New York Central, Clinchfield, Milwaukee Road, B&O, and Pennsylvania Railroads. At 8:07, with the passengers aboard, it's time for the excursion to get underway. Engineer Ross Rowland gives 2 blasts on the whistle and slowly accelerates the massive Greenbrier from the number 2 platform. Today's trip from Baltimore to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, is on the old Baltimore and Ohio's main line westbound towards Martinsburg, West Virginia. Some of the highlights along the route will be the Thomas Viaduct, the interchange at Point of Rocks, and finally the Runby at Harpers Ferry. Wasting little time, the Safety Express quickly gathers speed, leaving the city of Baltimore behind. Harpers Ferry, West Virginia is a small historic town along the line at milepost 81.6 at the start of the Cumberland subdivision. It's here that the Potomac and Shenandoah rivers converge. It's also where the states of Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia all meet. Known for its involvement just before and during the American Civil War, the town still maintains much of its historic charm, along with a population of about 300. Within minutes, more than triple that will be arriving and detraining to partake in the scheduled photo run-by. As the train reverses to get into position for the run-by, spectators clamor to find the perfect location to photograph the action. Many venture out onto the railroad bridge that branches off the main line just out of the tunnel. Another exciting chapter in steam railroading is well underway on a frigid morning in mid-January 1985. Armed to the hills with data recording equipment, the 614 is the star test locomotive for the ACE 3000 project. Convinced that steam power had been replaced by diesels long before their full potential had been realized, American Coal Enterprises joined forces with the Chessie system along with the Foster Wheeler Corporation and other steam professionals to create an economical, modernized steam locomotive. But before funding could be raised to create a prototype, Ross Rowland put his own 614 on the line for testing in an effort to gain publicity and hopefully help fund the rest of the project. Today, the 614 is departing the old C&O Depot in Huntington, West Virginia, at the head of a revenue freight. She will power the same train 3 days a week eastbound and 3 days a week westbound throughout January of 1985. With temperatures hovering around -25, engineer Steve Wickersham gets the train underway. The 614 was really moving as she blasted through Hurricane West Virginia. The sub-zero temperatures ultimately had a negative effect on the electronic equipment designed to monitor the locomotive's performance. Frequent stops had to be made along the trip to check and occasionally reset and repair damaged equipment. While the final results of the experiment showed that the steam locomotive outperformed the modern diesels cost-wise, the ACE 3000's fate was sealed in the following months when the cost of oil dropped and the Chessie system withdrew from the project. Although this marked the end of the 614's second revenue freight career, there is still hope that one day, steam may once again be given a chance to shine as the main source of railroading motive power. For more information about the 614 and other models for trains, visit www.kltrainz.com.